Solidarity, comrades. I'm here to talk today about primitive communism. One of the main arguments you get against communism is that it is against human nature. This is a very common bourgeois argument against communism, and that there has never been a true example of communism within humanity, and that it just does not work because it's against our human nature. And that's complete bullshit. There actually has been an example of communism, not of the ultimate goal of communism as pointed out by Karl Marx and other Marxists, but of something called a very early productive stage of humanity and society and culture called primitive communism. Now, what primitive communism is an egalitarian society of production and relationships between humans, where in a hunter-gatherer society, everything was very equal. The production was equal, and the women and men and everything were equal. It was there were no hierarchies. It was just a society where everyone produced, and everyone that produced got back equally from that production. The first example that we get from this is when Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels took inspiration from Lewis Henry Morgan's. Lewis Henry Morgan was this man who lived with the Iroquois nation in the northeastern United States, of North America, northeastern, maybe even southern Canada, but it was in the North America, and compared to Karl Marx's socioeconomic structures and societies, there was no social class, there was no capital accumulation, there was no hierarchies. It was a primitive form of communism, which all communists are trying to achieve at the end of this line of stages in human development. And it's very interesting, because the first time this was ever, put to paper by a Marxist was when Friedrich Engels wrote The Origin of the Family. And you read through The Origin of the Family, and it's such an essential writing when it comes to proletarian feminism, and pointing out that communism can work, maybe not in the form that we're trying to achieve of this higher advanced communism, where we get rid of classes and capitalism and everything. It was a very primitive form, hunter-gatherer society, which is not sustainable on planet Earth. Hunter-gatherer would just ravage the resources of Earth, of the planet Earth, and it was this pre-agricultural revolutionary form of getting sustenance for a society. But it's still very interesting to see how the relationships between creating a family. It wasn't the family like we see a family: mother, father, son, daughter, that type of thing. It was more of a communal thing, where there was no everyone in the tribe was a family. There was no distinctions between whose kid was whose. It was sort of like a communistic form of everything. But I find that primitive communism is very interesting, because it does show that humans, in their very less advanced stages of their society and culture, can in fact reach some form of communism. And it's a very early stage in this socioeconomic means of production. And so it's very early stage of human development, where they have reached a form of communism. And it shows that goes against the argument of human nature, because while these people are beyond their base nature to achieve this egalitarian society, and specifically when it comes to the Iroquois nation of North America, I'm sure there are other examples. I don't have any right in front of me right now, but I just wanted to make a short video pointing out that primitive communism is a great example to use against people who say it's against human nature, because it's not against. Communism is not against human nature. It's people want to help each other. I mean, if you have empathy for another human, you want to help another human. I don't think humans are not like other animals. We are very different. We're a very different breed, and we want to people who feel empathy towards others, want to create, have this, I think we have this base idea with any empathetic human that we want to help other people, and I think that primitive communism is a good example of humans in earlier stages of development, before the advent of capital in those societies and before the advent of the typical patriarchal marriage structure and family structure that shows that we can have this sort of equal society. And I think it's a good example for helping build a communistic society, though not in the same primitive fashion, in a much more advanced and scientific fashion. But I still think it's a very good concept to teach to people who are not really introduced to the idea of communism beyond what they've seen and heard of from their bourgeois history classes and their preconceived notions of what a socialist state is and what a socialist state is trying to achieve. And I think that that is all I pretty much have to say about primitive communism. But if anyone has any comments below that they want to talk about, I think that would be good. Have a little discussion about some primitive communism, other examples of primitive communism. And thanks for watching. Solidarity, comrades.